Hi, welcome back. By now you've seen the calibration process that Mr. Dragomir walked us through. Now we're going to set up a little vision exercise. What we're going to do is we have our teaching PC connected to the robot cell. We're going to go into the vision setup and we're going to create a new vision process. So we click on the Vision Process Tools, click on New, and we're going to name this, we're going to be using some arrows. So we'll just name this Arrow Project. And it is a 2D single view vision process. We're going to click on OK. We are now going to select that and open that project up. First thing we want to do is we want to go ahead and select the camera that we calibrated. Now we're going to actually go in and teach it some parts. The first part we're going to teach it, let's rename this, and we're going to call it an arrow box. The arrow box we're using is a very dark arrow box on white paper, so the contrast between the two will be very easy to distinguish. Put it in the vision system, and now we're going to go snap and find. Okay, I'm sorry. First we need to teach. So we hit the teach pattern of the arrow box. We adjust the window. Once the window's around the part, we'll go ahead and we'll bring it in tight to the part. So if we were just going to stop there, that would be fine. And it would be a starting point for the arrow box. Now let's put in a page of arrow boxes and see what the vision system does without us fine-tuning anything. So we put that in, and now if we do a snap and find, I set the counter I'm going to set the counter to 10 and save. Okay. All right, with the trained arrow box back on, with it on the machine, on the robot, in the vision system, we need to set the reference position. Once the reference position is set for the arrow box that we use the GPM tool to teach the pattern, now the vision system is ready to search for additional units. Right now I have it set on find 1. So the most it's going to do is just going to find, when I go snap and find, it's going to find 1. So we know there's more than 1. So we're going to put that up. We'll put it to 10. Don't forget to save your work. Now we're going to do another snap and find. Well, the interesting things here, the scores are all at 89%. And if you look at the reason why, you'll see it also found dots on the pages, and they're in red. So what we want to do is to go back to the arrow box, and let's go in and do an edit trim mask. we can trim away the part of the graphic that is not important. So we're actually going to tell it at this point to ignore these areas. Anytime it sees a dot like that, it should ignore those. Now let's go back and do a snap and find. And you'll see the scores are much better. Very interesting phenomenon is now when we did a snap and find, you'll notice it found multiples of the box, but it put the arrow on because it's still within the score threshold. The score threshold of 70%, anything above that, it will try to find the image. And those images do not have the arrows, but it thinks about that. What we would do in this case is go back to the teach pattern, and the arrow is actually an important part of the pattern. So, okay, we can go back to teach. We're going to go back and add an emphasis area. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually tell it that that arrow is very important. That will be an emphasis area in our part. So click OK, acknowledging the emphasis area, and save. Now we'll go back through a snap and find, and you'll notice now it finds the 6 boxes correctly with the arrows on them. And also the score is 100% because of the contrast. Now if we try to give it something a little more complicated, we're going to stick one in with a couple other shapes, and we're going to do a snap and find there. Again, it finds the appropriate boxes, and it gives us the locations of those. So the scores are rather high. There are 6 boxes, and it gives us the X, Y, and the roll location of these 6. And then we would use that when programming the robot if those were parts to be picked up. Now we can actually add another part to the process. We're going to add the bent arrow. So we're actually going to add another part. We'll call it bent arrow. Okay. We need to go and hit teach pattern. Put a window around the bent arrow. Hit OK to confirm. And then let's go in and do an edit trim mask to get rid of any of these miscellaneous blemishes that might be there. And we'll hit OK. And then save. Now if we put on a page with our bent arrow and our boxes, and we go back to our 2D single view vision process and hit snap and find, it finds all the parts. There's one missing, but the interesting thing is it found 10 parts. That one that it didn't find is the 11th part. So we need to come over here to number to find, and we could put in 20. And save. And then go back, snap and find. And it will find all the parts. Now you notice the model number I didn't change. So I should go back to the bent arrow and tell it it's model number 2. Save the data. Go back to the process. Snap and find. Now it shows us all the model numbers in the order in which it found them, the X, Y row locations, and then the scores. So we can then identify with the robot to pick up all the model number 1s, where they're at, and then go back and get the number 2s. Then the robot could sort, or we could actually just say a good part or a bad part. Now if we put another page on there with arrows missing, and we tell it to find, snap and find, because we put the emphasis arrow on the arrows, it will not find the 2 parts that the arrows are gone. So this could be for air detection. So the robot would know to just handle the ones that have the arrow, and this part has some missing, and it shows you the score threshold is down a little bit because of the part number 4 having the back missing. So this is where the emphasis area really comes in handy. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed the presentation.